People are an organization's most valuable asset and the key to its success. Good afternoon, everyone. Myself, Rakhi, from First MBA, DG Vaishnav School of Management, Chennai, would like to take immense pleasure in welcoming and introducing our speaker, Mr. RishiKumar. RishiKumar is an Associate Vice President with Pactera Edge. He sets and evolves the strategic relationship for the company and its portfolio of offerings with clients in retail and CPG industry. He is a thought leader, transformation strategist with 15 plus years of global IT industry experience with strong track record of driving business transformation, digital transformation, and enterprise-wide agile transformation. With his thought leadership and commitment to customer centricity, he helped multiple Fortune 100 companies in their digital transformation journey. He is focused on making strategic client relationship and solving their problems as a strategic partner. Prior to that, Rishi worked on leadership positions with Virtusa Corporation, CTS, TCS America, Computer Science Corporation, Sopra Steria, and led multiple large engagements, global product management, and engineering teams, and built business-driven products and solutions. He is an exceptionally involved person and inclusive leader. Thank you very much, sir, for joining us. The stage is all yours.
Oh, thank you so much, Rakhi. Thanks for the nice introduction. Am I audible? Just a quick check.
Yeah, sir. Please go ahead.
Perfect. So I think you have already done the great job for introduction. So I will skip my introduction. But yeah, in just one line, I'm from a company called Pactera, which is a consulting and IT service provider in America, in US, and we have a global
Sure,
presence.
voice cut bandu.
Hello.
Go ahead, Rishi.
Okay, perfect. So we have global presence across the world, right? We have offices in US, Asia Pacific, Europe, and in China. So let's start the session. Okay, so first of all, a disclaimer for you guys. So whatever I'm gonna present here, all the views, all the thoughts are mine. They don't have any relationship with my organization, right? So all the material which I'm gonna present is my own views. Okay, so let's talk about what is going in this current age, right? So everybody is aware that we are going through a pandemic, right? So it started last year, October, so almost 1 year, and it actually definitely it affected a lot globally, all the countries, all the industries, all the organizations. So now you see a lot of companies are doing good, but a lot of companies are not doing it at all. A lot of SMBs already shut down, right? So what is the news around the digital transformation, and what happened that, okay, every company need to spend, every company got a push because of this COVID to transform, in their own ways. Either it is new ways of working, adoption, or it is even changing their technological platforms, right? So you will find in the news that, okay, like for example, McKinsey mentioned 70% of digital transformations are failing. That's pretty common. The reason for failures are pretty much, there are multiple reasons. One, they don't have experience into it, right? Because they are doing it for the first time. Now there are alignment issues, right? They are not aligned with the goals and objectives, vision, mission of the organization. There is silos in the organizations. So there are multiple reasons around it. Now, because of the COVID, there's a push. So 70% of businesses need to spend money on digital transformations. It's not an option anymore, right? You have to spend money, you have to transform, you have to adopt industry 4.0. Okay. So for example, in this slide, right, I want to represent what happened. Like recently, MIT did a survey for more than 1,000 companies, especially in the COVID situation. They looked at, they questioned the senior leaders across multiple industries, companies, and they found that there are companies who are excelling in these three categories: communication, employee welfare, and agility. And there are the companies which are definitely not doing good in these areas. So the companies who are doing good in communication, employee welfare, and agility, they actually started transformation journey from long back, right? They might have started like previous, like last 3 to 4 years back, they started the digital transformation journey or enterprise-wide adoption, right? So now they are able to consume the effect of the pandemic. But at the other side, there are companies who never invested or the investment is not that solid and they are facing the challenges. Why I brought these 3 points, because these three are pretty much connected to people. So now what digital transformation is, basically, you must have heard about, like, it's nothing but it considers people, process, and technology part, right? So even in that, if I have to make a share about it, right, people and process is at higher share than the technology in the definition of digital transformation, or nowadays business transformation, right? Because now you are actually transforming and bringing business agility to the businesses, right? So you are transforming end to end. It's not just the IT or operations. Is there any question till now? I'm open to take like 1 or 2 questions also in between. Okay, so now if we go next, so what are the challenges we have faced? So every company across the globe are facing these challenges. They are very much, for them, their employees, their consumers, their members, right? Their health and safety, mental awareness. These are pretty much big issues, challenges. Now, because every company is adopting the new way of working. For example, a lot of companies came back and said, okay, now let's do the remote work, right? So work from anywhere concept is there. It earlier we used to like do work from home, but now it's work from anywhere. Look at the HBR issue, latest issue. You will find this is the top story, right? So work from anywhere. That's a goal. But if it is work from anywhere, are the companies comfortable to handle that kind of a situation? Are the employees able to manage in this work from anywhere concept, right? Satisfactions in place, or do they have motivation to do that, right? Is there good collaboration around it or not? So those are the challenges which we are seeing based on the pandemic as well. Now, employee retention. Now, work from anywhere, so employee retention is also an issue, because if there is a good talent, there is a demand of that talent, because every company is spending money on digital transformation. So they need an excellent, capable talent, and they wanted to hire them. Difficulty of adaptation. Everybody has been working traditionally 9 to 5 job. A lot of people are not able to adapt these changes. At the same time, irrespective, people are okay with the work from anywhere, but they are not able to work from anywhere for the long time, right? It's almost 1 year. People are frustrated because it is impacting their personal and professional life. So again, learning and sharing cultural issues, candidate experience. So now experience is very critical in any of the process, right? Whether it's a customer experience, serving your customers, right? Whether it's an associate experience for your employees or associates, whether it's a member experience or stakeholder experience or shareholder experience, right? All those experiences are pretty much necessary. So that's where you are seeing like too much adoption of human-centric designs, right? Too much adoption of human-centric processes. That's a core reason, because now customer or human piece is actually at the center of the core. It is also applicable in HR. People or humans are at the center of the core, even in the transformation journey. So how can HR impact the business strategy, right? So we all know, right? Traditionally, HRs are like involved in the human resource processes, right? Basically, talent management, time sheets, immigration, onboarding, all those kind of learning and development, all those pieces, right? Do they have to continue in the same path, or do they need to transform themselves and adopt new processes or new learnings, or they have to uh, gain more capabilities around new ways of working? Definitely yes, because now HR can play a very crucial role in the business transformation. They actually have to work with the leaders, CIOs, CXOs, right, to build that business strategy, business models. They can play a very key role in that whole journey. They can work with the CFOs as well to think about, okay, how finance would want to impact, and based on those finances, what kind of a workforce strategy should be in place, what kind of a capability, what kind of a capacity is needed across the organization at a given point of time. Basically, right capacity at the right time, at the right price, at the right project or a product. So HRs are definitely going to play a very crucial role. It is all about adoption. So I just put the 5-step process here. Like, so what they need to do, they have to first of all understand the organization's goals and objectives, organization's mission, vision and mission, right? What values they want to embrace in the organization. They have to align with that. They have to understand it first of all. Now, second, they have to embrace that in the culture. So focus on the culture. Do you want to build a culture of learning, sharing, and experimentation? I always focus on these three things: learning, sharing, and experimentation. How are we going to make it happen? I'll talk about that a bit, but these are very big topics. I can't cover in detail in this 45 minutes, but I'll give you some of the highlights on that. Now you articulate, third step is like you articulate the people strategy based on your goals and objectives. How you gonna, what kind of a strategy you will have in place for your people, like in the organization, considering the across 360 view, people 360 view, which take care of all the challenges which I have mentioned in the previous slide, whether it's a health and safety, whether it's learning and development, whether it's embracing the change, recognition, anything, and then connect the dots and align with the strategy. Will these connect the dots and align with the strategy is actually more aligned with the new ways of working, which is lean agile culture, right? Because you have to make sure that people who are working on the teams, I'm not using the word resource, mind it. These are people are the asset of the organizations. We should treat them respectfully, right? So they are the team members, the team players. So people who are working in the teams, people who are working in the programs, people who are working in the portfolios, and people who are on the top of them, right? So how are they all aligned from top to bottom? Like top person, CXOs, till the person who's actually building the and writing the code itself or testing the code, simple developer or tester. Are they aligned in the same goals and objectives? That is pretty much important. We'll talk about that. So definitely, if you are thinking about to make it happen, you need a new approach. What can be that approach? It would be data-driven, human-centric, people-first agile approach. So every word has a meaning into it in this approach. Why I'm saying data-driven? Because there is a lot of data right now. So based on this digitization across the industries, you have a lot of data in different systems, which you can leverage. You can build some models around it, leverage the data, based on the data, create the KPIs, and based on those KPIs, make the decisions, which are accurate decisions, right? So accuracy is pretty much important. That's why data-driven decision making. At the same time, decentralized decision making you can do. Human-centric, as I said, people are center of the universe. Customer is center of the universe. So human-centric approach. Irrespective of how much digital transformation is happening, how much digitalization is happening, how much physical to virtual world things are moving, but whether a lot of artificial intelligence is in place, ML models are in place, NLP is in place, but still you cannot leave people behind. You cannot leave human behind, right? They are always going to be at the center of the core. So it should be human centric. Now agile. So agile approach is important, right? So how we do that is the next step. So new ways of working. That is where I call like lean agile. And when you have to scale agile on a scale basis in an organization, it's agile on a scale, right? Where you can use different methods, like a scaled agile framework is one of them. Large scale, less is one of them, right? So there are multiple agile at scale methods, frameworks are also available which you can adopt. But on the team level, you're gonna use different methods like Kanban, Scrum, Lean XP practices. and you can actually you know the teams will adopt these new methods and deliver products, right? So how it happens, first of all, now when we are talking about the team level, right, you form the small teams. Okay, you form small teams which are 8 to 10 member people, highly focused on the backlog, on the set of requirements which you have to deliver in 2 to 4 weeks, right? That is your sprints. Basically you are delivering product minimum,
Good evening,
you are
everyone.
provide you are actually delivering minimum viable
Good
products,
evening, Priyan.
user stories in the short
Okay,
intervals,
okay.
right? When you are
Yeah,
scaling,
go ahead, no problem.
Banu, can you go on mute, please? Okay. So when
Yeah,
you
yeah,
are
sure.
yeah, when you are scaling it on the program level, so there are various levels in the organization. You have team level, you
ஆமா,
have program level, you have portfolio level,
சொல்லுங்க.
you have organization level, right? So you are building, you are
Correct,
implementing,
correct.
okay, you are implementing a Scrum or Agile practices at the team level. But when there are team of teams, it is your program. When you have multiple programs, it is a portfolio, right? And when there are multiple portfolio, they form an organization. So when you scale the agile on a scale basis, you basically what you're doing is on the top, first of all, on the portfolio level, you need to came up with your goals and objectives of that particular portfolio. You create a backlog of that portfolio. What objectives you want to meet in next 1 year, or maybe 6 months, or maybe 3 months. So why I'm saying 3 months, 6 months, and 1 year, because that is called rolling wave roadmap, right? Definitely it is a big concept, rolling wave roadmap. You don't want to create traditional roadmaps like 3-year roadmap and all that, so you want to create a rolling wave roadmap and be focused on it. So now those objectives which you want to achieve, they are basically your epics. You break those epics on the program level on the features, and you have the feature backlog on which people work, and then those features broke down to the stories, and the teams work on those stories, right, and deliver those stories. They are eventually and you're building basically the products or the solutions. Now second is like building intrinsic motivation. So yes, intrinsic motivation is important. How you make sure that every employee in the organization should be motivated. There is a principle in how to increase the intrinsic motivation of a knowledge workers, which means is they want to do their job, and that is coming from their own motivation rather than pushing them, like traditional managers say that okay, go and do this job. No, or because till the time you don't have intrinsic motivation in place, you will not able to innovate. That's a whole purpose of building the intrinsic motivation. Lean agile processes we talked about, like building culture of learning and sharing, focus on value. So now in these kind of a transformation, you should not just think about okay, I have a delivery date, or I have to deliver things on certain date, or it's my job to build this product, or just my job is to create a design, or my job is just to code, or even in different nature of the work could be different for different teams. Even for HR people, like nature of the work is different. For IT people, nature of the work is different. For business people, nature of the work is different. But eventually, the way we have been operated till now, that we have a date and we deliver that work by that date. Now what we are talking is building the value based delivery, right? Building the concept of value. What are you delivering, and what is the contribution of that value to the organization? Every individual should understand that. It doesn't matter which part of the organization you are and what kind of a work you are doing, but is that the work you are doing is bringing value to your customers. And customer can be anybody. People who are consuming your work are basically your customers. That's how I can say about the definition of a customer. So for example, like if a developer is doing the code, then tester is testing that, then tester could be the customer of that developer. So same way, like if HR are putting, HR are like providing the talent to the accounts or to the portfolios, then portfolios are the customer. All those leaders are the customers, right? It's not even about the end consumer we are talking. So look at your customer needs. Look at what value you are providing to your customers. And then building the intelligent platforms, right? So even when I talked about digital transformation is having the people, process, and technology, even latest Forrester says, report says like 3 Ps, people, process, and platforms, because now everybody is looking toward building the platforms or adopting the new platforms to expedite the timelines, right? So people, process, and platforms. So this slide I brought it from House of Lean, Safe House of Lean, right? So when I mentioned a scaled agile, this is an organization which has their own framework, a scaled agile framework, and that framework talks about how you embrace the change in the organization, how you bring the business agility, how you transform a portfolio which is a waterfall portfolio to a agile portfolio. When I say portfolio, it includes all the levels, whether it's a team level, program level, portfolio level, and how you align with the organization, on portfolio levels. And so it talks about everything, whether it's a customer centricity, it's talk about lean mindset, lean agile leaders, roadmap of adoption, and all that. I love this slide because when I'm talking to this HR community, right, this is what HR do. This is like a primary objective and goal for HR people also. So this House of Lean has 4 pillars, one base and one roof, right? It talk about, so these 4 pillars are basically the pillars on the value. The roof is there, and the base is the lean agile leadership. What is lean agile leadership? So lean agile leadership is basically the leaders who embrace the change. They should have the growth mindset. If they have the fixed mindset, they will not able to understand the value of the change. So the leadership need to be perform as a change agent, and to bring that kind of a mindset, you might need mentors and the coaches in the organization who can actually embrace and build change agents in the organization. But after that, like, you have the good leadership in place who can embrace the change, right? Now these 4 pillars are pretty much important, and HRs actually can play this role, like as a mentors, as a coaches. They can embrace, they can build these kind of a change agents in the organization. Now these 4 pillars, for respect for people and culture, that is pretty much important, because who do the job? Team, agile team, they should have a backlog of kind of objectives they want to achieve in next set of timelines, right? What kind of a milestones or what kind of objective they want to achieve in 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, and 1.5 year. So those kind of exercises are needed on that level, and from there they have to embrace that mindset to the next level and next level. So how you bridge that gap and be agile? So it is more on the implementation side, how we do it, right? So basically, when we start implementing these kind of HR transformation, or so for example, I did transform the HR function, marketing function for a couple of my clients. One of the healthcare client, and then one of the consulting company itself. I did the BU transformation. So what we do normally is, we first of all we build transformation team, agile transformation team, or digital transformation team. You can call it a governance committee also, but this is not the way traditional governance committees are working. No, this is a committee of people who actually are the leaders, lean agile mindset leaders. They create their own transformation backlog. So even then you decide in that particular team who's the right people and the right roles. So identify those roles, get the right people on those roles. Then you have the clear set of requirements, which you call it backlog. So backlog is nothing but, set of requirements which you want to build or deliver. And then prioritize that backlog, that, okay, I need to have the customer experience 200% more engaging customer experience by this date. That is your one of the leadership objective. Another example of the objective, I want to have a 100% more effective, engaging employee experience, than like what I am having right now. Or I want to it's a multiplier effect, 2x, 3x, 5x, right? I want to achieve that within some duration, maybe a milestone, right? So these are kind of objectives which you prioritize, and then you work on those objectives as a team on the portfolio level, even on the top level. And then based on those objectives, you see, okay, if I want to deliver this objective, I have to implement a new HR system. Maybe I have to spend money on digital technologies. I might need some HR bots. I might need to have a better decision making engine in place. So I need to invest, to build a AI model, which can actually help me to decide, or get the right candidates in place. There are better talent in place, so wherever you need to spend, what a kind of a solution you want to build or buy, those things will come from that backlog. And then to make it happen, again, you have a next level set of teams who would be working on that and building that. Again, feedback process on all levels, whether it's a team level, program level, or the top level. So that would help you to refine the entire process in every level. Learn from what you have done, inspect and adapt, look and do the problem solving workshops, identify the solutions and put those solutions in place. That's a whole cycle. And bridging the gap is basically the collaboration piece, right? You have to remove the silos. So these teams have the people. It's not that HR people are not part of these teams. If it is HR, if it is HR functions related work, they need to be the part of team. So this team composition is basically getting the right people who is needed, whether it's an IT person, a business person, or the HR person, or the marketing person. It basically based on the objective and what are you delivering, what kind of a product you're delivering. So I think we talked about that a lot. So how digital is disrupting HR. So now we see, like, okay, we see these terms: digital workforce, digital workplace, digital HR. So what is a digital workforce? So digital workforce is nothing but like having your workforce enabled digitally, right? They have all the tools. They are available online, like you and me are talking here, right? We are attending this conference, right? So digital savvy workforce, which are culturally aligned also with the organization. Digital workplace, basically enabling the digital workforce to operate. So whatever you need in that prospects is your digital workplace. You know, there also you might need some tools, some environment setups, but to enable the people to do the job, the workplace should be digitally enabled, right? So that's a digital workplace. And digital HR, we already talked about it. Another key area where HRs need to push in upcoming trends is diversity, equality, and inclusion. So you have seen a lot of news around, even in US, like Black Lives Matters. That was a big thing in the last year. So companies, and you see the new category of leadership in this particular area as well. So, for example, the roles like chief diversity officer, right? Chief diversity inclusion officers in different organizations, right? Which are and a lot of organization, not a lot of, like, I think it is every organization should focus on this part. You need to value, right? And this is HR's responsibility. You need to value, are your employees are treated equally, right? And means, so first of all, you, when as an HR, you have to go back and see, are we really following it? Do we have equality in place? Do we have inclusion in place? Do we have a right diversity in my workforce? Are we or is it like somehow somewhere we are doing the gender biasness? We have to make sure it should not happen in the organization, right? So all races, all genders should be treated equally. So a couple of, like, look at the areas, like, do we have a diverse candidate pool? Even from when you are hiring the talent from the market, you need to have some KPIs. You need to make sure that, okay, when you're recruiting from the market itself, Do we have that diverse candidate pool? Are we recruiting equal set of amount of people on these areas? You should definitely screen for the cultural fitment, right? And that should be driven by like leadership as well. That yeah, means when you are hiring somebody, are they culturally fit or not with the organization? It is pretty much important. Now, like when you are providing opportunities internally to the company, like to the people in the company, are those kind of opportunities shared equally across the organization or not? So for example, if there is a global company and they have offices in 50 countries, right? Is the internet transfers are possible or not? And if the internet transfers are possible based on the opportunity, are the people are treated equally on those transfers or not, right? Or it should not happen that okay, one set of people should get more priority than other set of people based on the demographics, based on the race, based on any other thing, right? Same goes the continuous learning program, like learning and development also. Is the every area, like is the every portfolio are getting the right learning opportunities? Are they able to perform? Are they getting benefit of it? Or it should not happen that one particular set of people are taking advantage. They are getting the advantage, not taking advantage, but other set of people are not getting that kind of advantage. So that diversity is pretty much important. And there are again, like a lot of companies are investing a lot into it. When I'm saying investing, they are building the models just to make sure they don't have biasness in the results, but that is again not happening. So even there are 200 kind of bias available to make sure that and then end of the day, it's all about data on which these AI models are, you're building AI models, right? So if there is a bias in the data itself, how are you gonna mitigate that bias in the models? Because eventually if that bias is there, that will also replicate in the results, in the decisions. So how you detect that, how you mitigate that is pretty much important. So couple of hot skills. I'll just talk about that because this is, if you're looking at 2021, 2022 upcoming trends, these are the areas where I would recommend all the people like who are in this space should look at, right? Because this is the trend which is there. You have to build your capability in this space. So people, data, and analytics, right? People, data, analytics is pretty much very hot in the market right now. So it is one of the most in-demand skill for HR professionals right now. So companies are looking at the data to inform decisions and answer questions. For example, if if I am the HR manager, I want to know who will lead the organization and when, right? How do our capabilities compare to competitors? So what skills and talents do we need? What kind of a data provide insight and can help decision makers by answering these questions? So eventually, if you want these kind of answers, you have to leverage the data, build and get the results, get the responses from this data, and then you can have the decentralized decision making on top of that. So that is a one very good area where I think everybody need to invest time. Then strategic workforce management. That is where you actually work on the top level and understand what is your workforce requirements. Strategic.
Buddy, 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 buddy. Second.
Hello. Yeah, can you
Second.
go on mute, please? Right. So you have to understand your strategic workforce requirements, right? You need to understand where, how much capacity, what number of people are needed, to support the organization at what given point of time. That is actually possible when you're defining a business strategy with business folks or IT folks, senior leadership, right? You need to understand that part, right? Very well. Organizational design, that is again a key thing. When you say organizational design, all kind of a cultures which I have been talking till now baked in, right? Means how we embrace these kind of cultures in the organization, how we embrace the change, how you bring agility, how you make sure your teams and people perform in the organization, how you make sure that they have intrinsic motivation, how you make sure that they you can retain that kind of a talent in the organization as well. So that is also very hot skill where HRs can spend time and effort, right? And then modern out of the box toolkit. When I say modern out of the toolkit is, see, in current generation, like people have a lot of good ideas, and so they should definitely focus on experimentation and bring those kind of new ideas on the table. Either it is a learning or recruiting space or any other space, right? You have to bring those ideas. They should also think about design thinking, learn design thinking and stakeholder management, right? Because human centric approach is needed in every aspects. So you need to definitely learn about design thinking a bit. You understand what are your stakeholder personas, how you can create a journey map top of that, what are their needs, right? You need to critically understand that, and there where design thinking helps a lot. So from technology perspective, yeah, so definitely these are like in next upcoming years, these are the areas where a lot of pushes, you know, even HR's functions, like there like a lot of chatbots, HR chatbots are coming, you know, every company is spending money on that area, intelligent automation area, right? When I say intelligent automation, basically the automation which is AI infused automation, right? So intelligent automation, unified employee experience, and data-driven decisions. So these are like the areas where companies are spending, a good amount of money, part of digital transformation journey, and where HR can also contribute and they can engage the right talent at the same time. They should also learn a bit about these things, you know, so that they should not be blank on these areas. I highly recommend even HR should have the basic understanding about to query the data, you know, to understand the results are appropriate or not. They should not just rely on the outcome results. They should able to understand and maybe do a simple query to get the right results in place and validate those results. So that's all for today. Is there any questions? Sorry, I think my webcam, I don't know why it stopped.
Well, first of all, thank you
Yeah,
so much,
it's
Rishi
not
sir.
working properly. Yeah.
You have actually given, a very detailed insight information about what is new HR, new age HR professionals. In fact, this is gonna be a very good learning information for everyone who is actively participating in this particular session today. You have actually given, or you have given the detailed information of what the organization needs to be done in order to go ahead and if the organization has to be sustained in the market for a longer growth. There are a few key points which I have jotted down while you were going with your PPTs. The one which I like about are the challenges where organizations has to understand with respect to health and wellness, employee retention, difficult to adapt, bringing right talent, learning and collaboration. The second most important point, what I feel, is how you can articulate people's strategy, how you can align people with strategy. You also talk about people 360-degree view. That is something which I personally feel as an HR professional, you should definitely get involved into it. The day when organization will understand the importance, how exactly this 360 degree is going to work, the things will definitely change. Another thing, you were continuously talking about, the agile platform. You were saying about, the agile, lean agile. You were talking about the data-driven, human-centric. So yes, this is a pretty new, I can say, a concept which is coming into the HR professions, and that is actually gonna be a little boom in the market in the coming few years. You also talk about rolling wave roadmap. You talked about 3 Ps, how to bridge a gap, and the agile. And the last but not the least, what you talk about is diversity, equality, and inclusion. So yes, you have actually given a very, the information that has we have never heard about. And as a student, yes, this is actually going to be a very good stepping stone for me to acquire and to gain, what I gained knowledge from you, sir. So once again, thank you so much. I will be quickly going ahead and asking Raki to continue with the session.
Thank you,
Yes.
Rishi.
Go ahead,
Yeah.
Rocky.
Yeah, so we'll go ahead with the question answer session. So we have some question from the audience side. So
Mm-hmm.
I'll just read it out. What do you mean by unified employee experience? This is the question asked by Sonia.
Right. So thanks for the question, Sonia. And first of all, my apologies because I don't know why my webcam is not working now, right? So I can't be on a screen. So when I say unified employee experience, right, it is basically the same experience across the organization for all the employees, right? So when I say experience is it's it touches down all the 360 pieces, providing the right opportunities, all the employees across the organization, providing the right learning and development platforms, all the employees in the organization, talent perspective, right talent, everybody, means when I say right talent, a lot of time you have to actually in-house within the organization, you have to move people from one part of the organization to other part of the organization based on the opportunities, right? So even those insider opportunities are providing the same opportunities across the people in the organization, right? Is it open for everyone? So those kind of experiences, right? as an employee as an employee, am I feel satisfied? Yes. Can everyone go on mute, please? So yeah, am I, as an employee, am I feeling satisfied, right? And that kind of a notion coming from not a single employee, it should be across the organization, right? So programs which bring that kind of experience for every individual, that is unified experience. It should not be, biased to one group or another group.
Thank you,
Lucky
sir.
that's
Yeah, sir. Thank you. It was a wonderful answer. So, sir, can we take up the second question from the audience?
yes, go ahead.
Yeah. So, this question is asked by Swati. And the question is, can you give me some tips for enhancing the hot skills of HR?
Yeah, absolutely. So see, there are two areas, right? I think you are all doing, you are taking education in the HR area, right? You are doing masters and all that. So those you would be learning in your institutions and with the mentors. But from IT perspective, I would definitely recommend, you know, when I talked about learning some kind of a query languages, right? Or artificial intelligence, NLP and all that, you need to kind of go through some material on the internet, or there are some short courses are available. There are a lot of free content available, right? Look at the courses in coursera.com, edx.com, right? Those are the free content, free and very well refined content. Go to those kind of platforms and learn from there. That's a starting point for you, rather than spending money on certain area, right? Start with MOOC courses, right, which are freely available. And then if you think that you need to spend a little bit money on certain areas, you can do that. So the areas which I mentioned is definitely intelligent automation, right? That is one of the area. You can spend a little bit money on understanding the AI. So not too much technical, but definitely on based on the theory and the use cases perspective. What are the HR use cases in these areas, right? Because eventually you guys would be part of building those kind of use cases for your organization in the future. So you need to understand that. So spend time and effort on those things.
Yeah, sir. Sure, sir. We'll take up your words. So, taking up the third question, it is asked by Kaushik. For us future HR professionals, what is that one thing that you want us to focus on beyond the normal HR aspects?
Yeah, so definitely I would encourage every person from future perspective, uh, other than the traditional stuff, right? Be part of the transformation, right? Learn about business agility, learn about digital transformation as much as possible, because you, again, like the same thing, you would be helping your organization in future to grow, to embrace these kind of a changes, to achieve the outcomes and objectives for the organization. So you definitely need an understanding around it. Understand the different kind of work, other than your HR. Try to understand how IT works, right? Try to understand what kind of a technology in place. I'm not saying that understand technically. I'm just saying increase your general knowledge, general awareness around it. Okay, for example, cloud adoption, what cloud adoption means to the industry. You need to understand what cloud adoption is, what kind of a cloud are in the market. So if you know all these things, it always help you in your day-to-day job. And when you're talking to the business leaders, talking to the other leaders, it helps you to have a good conversation in place. And you can bring people aspect into it. It should not be technology or modernization piece of it would be then a holistic change, right? So try to understand these other areas, on a not to detail, but again, like just to understand that part.
Yeah, sir, sure. Will be much more practical. And thank you so much, sir. It was real and informative and wonderful session. Thank you, participants.
Thank
Thank
you
you
so
once
much,
again,
Raki.
sir.
Thank you,
Over
Raki.
to
Thanks
Rishi.
for thank you, everyone.
Okay. Well, in fact, I would personally like to thanks to Mr. David Mui and to you, Rishi sir, once again, because you have actually, given a very detailed information. And yes, you have also clarified the participants' doubt, because that is the most important thing, that has to happen in a session. Because always the participant come with a different questions, they have a different ideology, they have a different thought process. So you and David sir has actually given, you have supported us a lot. For that reason, once again, thank you. Now I will be quickly going ahead and summarizing the entire session once again. So first of all, I would like to thanks to all the participants for their kind cooperation. I'm sure all the participants day one has been a great learning experience, and I promise day two will also have many insights as day one, if not more. Now we expect everyone to meet tomorrow as well. The session will start sharp at 3 p.m. We request to log in 10 minutes early to sort out the technical glitches if anyone has. All right. Saying this, I would like to thanks once again to everyone, and you have a wonderful and a great evening.
Yeah, Rishi, last minute, I have a last point to mention. Okay, so if anybody want to discuss anything, feel free to reach me on LinkedIn. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.